Hello and welcome to part 2 of the re-recording of the Southern Queensland Landscapes webinar. All right, so as I was saying before, I had this weird issue where it wouldn't let me move these points around, and that the only way to fix it was to click done, so it saves your edits and then get back into editing. So what I'll just do quickly here is I'll show off how you add points in along this line. So you just click, hold on, I'll just move that back on the other side of the road. So you just click anywhere on the red line. So when you do that, you'll see it like holds a little white dot there, so you know you're in the right spot, and then you can just add the dots in. I'm not sure how many white dots you can have. You can have as many as you want. Really, you can zoom in close if you want to get some real fine detail, assuming the map loads that well. So let's zoom back out. So that looks pretty nice. So when you're done making your edits, as you saw previously, clicking done saves it, but if you hit cancel, it'll undo all the edits you made once you opened up this menu here. It's the closest thing you have to an undo button, so be very careful when you're making these edits. So if I click cancel, see, it undid everything. So be very careful when making these edits that you only save, or you only click done with the edits once you've done what you've wanted, and if something's gone wrong, you click cancel and go back. So I would suggest you do the edits in bits and pieces, so you don't have to, you don't lose too much progress if it suddenly it freaks out or breaks. And an important part of doing big edits, now that I start talking about that, is making, those edits I was just doing stuff like that, and then going down to here, maps, going to save as, and then so if we hit save, this would save over our map layers, and this would be the new map layers. Even if we change the name and then hit save, it would save over that and rename it. So what we'll do here is we'll just call it, I don't know, webinar. And now we'll hit save as, and it'll become a new map. So I would suggest, as I was just saying, when doing very large edits, you regularly do the edits like in bits and pieces, and then also regularly save. Because if for some reason your internet cuts out and then comes back, if you did cut out for like, even if it's just 10, 30, 10 seconds, something like that, this here, your login details will freak out a bit. So Queensland Globe might not shut down or reboot, but it'll know that you've lost internet connection. And if you go to try and save, you'll get an error message saying you can't save, because since you lost internet, it automatically logged you out, but it hasn't told you or changed anything on the map. It's happened to me before. So an example is this Lower Kneebone Milestone 2 inspection. I had to restart that map about 3 times because I kept making the mistake of not saving it regularly while doing edits. So I ended up having to redraw the same fence lines about 3 times over. All right, so give me a second, just going back to my script. All right, so I think we're just about ready to print this map. I'll quickly turn on this layer. The reason I've turned this layer back on is because I'm going to show you how you print a map. So to print a map you've done and save a copy of that map to your computer, you go down here to print, and what it'll do is it'll open up a new tab, but from this tab, you can't add or change anything that's on the map. So if you went back, I'll wait for it to finish loading so I can better show this. So while it's loading, I'll just quickly explain it. As you can see, you can choose to have it landscape or portrait. So I'll just click landscape. It does take a second to load everything in. You can set it to be A3. You can add, name in. So just call it webinar. And you've got like your little Queensland government declaration here, since you made it using Queensland Globe, scale, rough little map, and see this tick that ticks with legend. So What that does is if you click additional data, it takes you to the other side of the map. It just adds in all this stuff that's from your legend in the map. Now, as you can see, it doesn't add in like the names of the places. So it's not explaining what that pink line is there. It's just what's in the legend that it automatically generates for the map. So what we do is we just click with it, untick with legend, so it's blank. The reason you do this is because it means you now have this blank spot here to put in, write in, or to write in your own legend explaining what the colors mean. And oh, wrong one, with the wrong tab over here. And same with here, you've got a lot of free space to do whatever. So if I'll just go back to the other side, and you can change what it's viewing in here. So you just click this little lock here, so it's unlocked, and now you can drag and move it around. It is a bit finicky because it's stuck. It can only scroll in and out to certain levels. So I would suggest if you're looking to be precise to use these, the zoom in and zoom out buttons, because you can use your mouse wheel to scroll in and out, but it can be a bit finicky. But yeah, so after some messing around, you get it perfect. Click the lock again, so it's locked, so I can scroll up and down and it's not going to move around or anything. I can even do click and drag, it's not going to do anything. So after you've got the map the way you want, go down here to print to, get the option to do it to a PDF or a PNG. So PDF is just, everyone knows what a PDF is. It's a electronic document, simple as. PNG is an image file, so the same as if you got a photo off your phone onto your computer. So let's print a PDF. And what it'll do is it'll generate the PDF. So we'll just give it a second. And you'll see it down here. It ends up with this gibberish kind of name. And if you're using Google Chrome, what you can do is click on this little arrow, go show in folder. And what it'll do is it'll open up your downloads folder or wherever it's downloaded to. And you can see it there. And then from here, right click, rename, webinar. And then from there, you can drag it somewhere else on your computer, save it somewhere else. So let's get out of that. And then also, I nearly forgot what I'll quickly show is, so just remember what it looks there. So if I go back to our map here, just give it a second, and I turn off the lot and plan, so that black layers, those black lines are gone. Go back to the print, you'll see it's still there. Even if we untick the lock, it's still there. So when you do get to the print screen, make sure everything that is on the map is what you want on your map. So once you've done one of those, there's no way to bring that map into Queensland Globe. So if you wanted to edit that map specifically, you'd have to go back to its file here in maps. But yeah. So just give me a second. I'm just going to go through my notes quickly and make sure I have covered everything. So just quickly, what you can use these maps for with like either PDF, PNG, the maps in general, what you can use them for is permits for construction, grant application, and just helping with knowing your property's infrastructure and planning it. So for example, with a lot of projects, we have landholders who will go, oh, I want to put a fence here and I've got some weeds here. And it's this beautifully hand-drawn map where it's like all perfect lines drawn with like a pencil. And it's good and all, but we, for the report's sake, because we have to track stuff that they're doing, how the progress is going, we have to convert it to this. And it's just a hassle both for us, but also the landholder, because if he wants to go and add stuff, he either has to draw over that map again, edit it, or redraw it, stuff like that. But if you've got one of these maps saved, you can just come back, edit it, and save another version. You can stick a date to it to track progress of stuff. Yeah, so, and with like the getting permits and stuff, you can just within 30 minutes or however long it takes you to draw what you're trying to get a permit for on the map, you can use it, as proof. So I know, like, you could use it for justification to get like a loan out to get more, I know, tanks or watering point, get some money to increase the number of tanks and watering points on your property by just going, well, you can see I've got like a blank spot here or something, using the circle tool, stuff like that. And if you ever run into trouble, the help menu on Queensland Globe is very helpful. So we'll just go down to help. It'll open another tab like in the print menu, and it's got this help page here. But if you go to tutorial videos, it has a bunch of like a drop down menu that takes you to the YouTube channel, and basically everything in that drop down menu takes you to whatever tool it's talking about. They've also got FAQs, which are basically pages on like specific tools. So this is, for example, the previous imagery tool. So this is very helpful. And if you ever run into any issues, it's very helpful to come to this. Unfortunately, there isn't like a PDF help book for it, but those videos are pretty brief, usually under 10 minutes. And they're explained by one of the people, the people who developed Queensland Globe. So they know more about it than I do and can probably explain it better than I can. Right. Just checking my notes again. Just want to make sure I've got this right. Yeah, so that seems to be about it. Feel free to have a mess around and draw on Queensland Globe. Just have a go trying out stuff. Explore going through the layers menu, because I've only scratched the surface of it. In this layers menu, there's ones for land type, there's veg management layers, there's all kinds of stuff buried in there. But yeah, so thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it. Right, good luck messing around with Queensland Globe.